I'm on season 5 of The Middle, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very reminiscent of Malcolm in the Middle and other types of family sitcoms that I grew up with. I do love Patricia Heaton, or at least because I watched Everybody Loves Raymond here and there growing up, I'm familiar with her. I love all the actors, and I do love most of the characters. The only thing, speaking of Patricia Heaton, the one thing that frustrates me about this show so much more than anything else is how poorly they write Frankie Heck's character. Why do they it feels like they go out of their way to make her very unlikable. I don't know why. She's just such a shitty mother in a lot of ways. And I know they make a joke like, oh, she's imperfect. Like, that's the whole point of the show, is they're not a perfect family. But I feel like Malcolm in the Middle did it a lot better, because as much as Jane Kasmerick's character Lois freaks out all the time and is crazy mom and is such a big bitch a lot of the times, it's all justified because her kids are fucking hellions. Like, they're awful children, and so you're on her side a lot of the time. You like agree with her, and you think that she is justified in feeling the way that she does, even if she overreacts a little bit. With Frankie Heck, it feels like she is just so negligent. Like, it feels like she doesn't give a shit about her kids. And I know the main part of that is, her life's just so chaos that these things fall through the cracks. Like, she's just, again, they show how she's not a perfect mom, or she's not this, that's like, I know that that's such a main point of it, and how the character is even aware of that. The character is self-aware of how imperfect she is, but it feels like they rely on that too much as writers, and it feels like they they don't, at least where I'm at in the show, I don't know if it changes at some point towards the end, but where I'm at right now, it feels like they're just not writing her well, and the writing for her character is not bringing out like sympathy from me as an audience member. It's hard to side with her or feel for her in a lot of ways, because they just write her very stupidly. Like, they make her make stupid decisions. It's how I felt watching Weeds. I hate that Nancy Botwin in Weeds makes so many stupid fucking decisions, and it's hard to like these types of characters at some point. There's a difference between a character having unlikable qualities and us still rooting for them, versus making a character unlikable and we just kind of hate them. And there's a huge difference between a character being flawed and only showing their flaws, or not, not bringing us to that lens of feeling that they're like the hero in the story still, or that we want the protagonist to win. It sucks when you're watching a show or watching any story and you feel like, yeah, you deserve this. At some point you start to hate a character so much, or you start to find them unlikable, that you're like, well, you deserve that, and that's tough shit. When you feel like, oh, tough shit, you kind of put yourself in this situation. That sucks, feeling that way about a character, because I want to root for them, or I want to feel that. Like, the reason Tony Soprano or Walter White are such great characters to watch is because as fucked up as they are in a lot of ways, we still, the way they write those characters is we are still on their side. We still see their, I don't want to say the things that make them likable, but we see a bit of ourselves in those characters, despite them being so, out of the box and really abhorrent in a lot of ways, and deplorable. Despite them being deplorable, we see a bit of ourselves in them from one human being to another. But the way I feel about Frankie Heck is, I don't know, I'm just annoyed with her. Anytime she's on screen, I get annoyed. I just watched, I'm at the part of the show where she's starting to become a dental hygienist, and then is in the line lying to people that she's a doctor. Like, she didn't have to do it. There's so many things that Frankie Heck does that, like, she is the reason that she's in deep shit. And I hate when characters do that, or I hate that feeling of like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you being an idiot? That's the thing is, see, Tony Soprano and Walter White, or the characters, the anti-heroes that we like, even some characters from Game of Thrones, they're not idiots about it. Walter White is the furthest thing from an idiot making idiotic decisions. Tony Soprano is not well educated, but knows how to be a boss, and he knows how to be a don. That's all he needs to know how to do, And Tony Soprano is somewhat educated enough, at least. Like he's educated enough for us to to not feel like we're, you know, watching a complete dumbass on screen. At least that's why the scenes with him and Dr. Melfi are good, because he is aware of certain things in psychology, and he's aware enough but not too much, kind of thing. And so yeah, Frankie is such a, God, she's such a hard character to watch, that anytime it's on her storyline or anytime it's focused on her, I am just kind of waiting for it to be done. Like, I love watching Mike, Axel, and Sue, and Brick. Literally every other character, I love their screen time. And Frankie Heck just kind of fucking annoys me. It's annoying more than anything. Annoying and frustrating. I don't actually hate her. I do love her in a lot of ways. There are the times where I do like how she cares so much about trying to do the right. They do show that she's at least trying to be better, or trying to do the right things that she feels that she is supposed to do as a mother. I think I wish there was not only more of that, but I just wish they didn't write her so stupid. Like, she's so stupid sometimes. Maybe it makes sense, because the whole point of the show in a lot of ways too is that, like, oh, she's just a mom. Like, she's not really good at anything other than being a mom, and even that she's not that great at. So maybe that is the point of it, is that she's just she's not really good at anything. And I guess that's where Sue gets her, like, not being good at anything. Maybe that was the point, you know, that's really what they wanted to drive home, is that Axel is so much like Mike, and Sue is so much like Frankie, and then Brick is just kind of the side, he's like the Stewie Griffin of the show, or the side character that's just kind of, you know, like Dewey worked really well in that with Malcolm in the Middle as well, where he's just so kind of outside of it that he's a great, you know, the youngest baby of the family, just like dealing with all the crazy shit around them. So that's, you know, it makes sense that Frankie isn't really exceptional at anything. She's just not, you know. But there's a lot of love in her heart, and there's a lot. That's the thing. Is the one thing that does make her a redeemable character. She does have a lot of heart. She does care in a lot of ways. It's just she's one of those. She's an example of one of those mothers that should be a little more like anal about things, or a little more like. And at the same, I don't know. At the same, they do make her very naggy. They give her all these qualities of like a stereotypical mom archetype, and then they. You know, unfortunately, because they've established her as this imperfect mom, I feel like the writing just kind of relies on that too much, and the writing relies on her, you know, just you know, fucking up basically. Like, how many times she fucks up, and because one thing that I noticed, it's just very repetitive. I think is where I get kind of annoyed with it more than anything, though. Too is why I'm bringing up like how they're writing her. It's not. I think Patricia Heaton is, I really actually love her as an actress. It's like unfortunate how she's so perfect at those annoying, feels like Everybody Loves Raymond, that was her character too, the nagging, annoying wife, and you like Doris Roberts and his mom and brother more, and you're kind of like, you know, like she felt like such an annoying character in that. It's just like, is she just good at those types of characters? I guess so. I like Patricia Heaton though. That's what's funny about it, is I like her as an actress, just for some reason, the characters they have her as, they're so insufferable sometimes. But yeah, the when I'm talking about like the writing and how repetitive it can be, there's so many times where Sue needs something mailed, or acts like one of the kids or somebody need like they basically asked her to do something, or they relied on her to do something. And she didn't do it. You know, I was just watching the first episode of season 5, where they are dropping off Axel, and she forgets to mail something that Sue needed for school, or forgot to fax something to the school or whatever. And it's like, that felt like the 10th time, 12th, 15th time that I've seen it in the series. Like, oh, Mom, you did that, right? You did send it to them, right? And it's like, oh, no, she didn't. She fucked up. Again, she fucked up. So it just gets very cyclical in that way, that vicious cycle of those things. And at the same time, the family... You know, there are times where she gets screwed over and you really feel sorry for her. The Mother's Day episode in season 4, right before that, where they buy her yellow pants instead of the back massager thing that she wants. Like, they fuck up too, and they like are, you know, bad at paying attention to her as well. So it's like she does get that back sometimes as well. Or she gets screwed out, screwed over in a lot of ways without it being her fault as well. So it's not always her fault. I'm hoping, right now I'm only in the middle of the show, obviously, so I don't know where this is gonna go. But right now where I'm at, I'm just like, what the fuck? Frankie Heck, why are you so stupid? Why are they making you such a stupid character? I don't know, does anybody else feel that way?